The government is putting in place minimum alcohol pricing that will see drink in the Republic of Ireland cost double the price of drink in the north. You can't be trusted to run your own life apparently, but luckily for you, Leo Varadkar and Micheál Martin are here to micromanage it for you, and thank God for that. This is Ben Scallon and you're watching Gript Media. The government is moving to set minimum alcohol pricing in place in an effort to curb people's consumption of drink and force you to buy less because you literally can't afford the new prices. This plan, which is scheduled to come into effect in January of 2022, will have a huge impact on the cost of almost all alcoholic beverages in the Republic of Ireland. As reported by breakingnews.ie, with a minimum pricing for alcohol, it will mean that stores will not be able to choose the lowest price they sell alcohol. There will be a minimum price limit. The plan is to introduce a minimum price of 10 cents per gram. This would mean that the cheapest bottle of wine would cost €7.75, where previously it could have cost under €5. A 700 milliliter bottle of supermarket vodka, now costing between €13 and €14, could cost €20 under the new system. Meanwhile, the cheapest 330 milliliter can of lager will now be at least €1.12. Now, bear in mind that this will literally mean that alcohol in the Republic of Ireland will cost double the price of alcohol in Northern Ireland. It sort of begs the question why someone wouldn't just drive up north, buy a few crates of alcohol and then drive back down to the Republic. The government are basically begging people to create black markets and speakeasies. In fact, if alcohol is unaffordable in the Republic, which is the whole goal of this policy, but then we have a jurisdiction just a short car journey away in the north that sells drink at almost half the price, why would criminal gangs not take advantage of that as a new product that they can hawk down here? I'm pretty sure your average 6-year-old could see this coming, but apparently our 100 grand a year government politicians can't for some reason. To justify all this, figures like Leo Varadkar are quick to tell us that minimum alcohol pricing is needed to save lives because drink has such a devastating effect on people's health, which is of course true. There's only one small issue with this, unfortunately. Alcohol use has already been plummeting in recent years without this policy. According to the World Health Organization, Irish people drank about 32% more alcohol in 2005 than they did in 2016, a huge reduction in consumption. There goes the government, as usual, implementing an absolutely extreme and radical policy to solve a problem that was already solving itself before they arrived. Once again, we are reminded of the scariest words in the English language: I'm from the Irish government and I'm here to help. Even worse again, this policy is actually set up in such a way that it might push younger and or less well-off people towards products commonly known as hard drink. You see, the price will now be determined by alcohol content, and technically 4 beers have more alcohol content than a naggin of vodka. What that means is it would actually be more cost effective to buy 1 naggin of vodka under this policy than 4 cans of the cheapest beer. But realistically, which of those is going to get you more plastered? You're basically pushing people towards harder drinks. And by the way, it should also be pointed out that the wealthy elite pushing this policy will barely be affected by it. Does a TD on almost 100 grand a year care if the price of their favourite wine goes up a little bit? Somehow I doubt it. In fact, on the topic of well-off politicians, this might be the most remarkable part of this policy. It actually hurts nobody but the poor consumer. Big business and the government do quite well in this arrangement. Contrary to what many people are saying, this is actually not a tax, it's just a mandatory price hike. When you think of the government putting up the price of alcohol, you probably think of how they put up the price of cigarettes in the budget. In that case, they increase the excise duty, meaning that they get an extra 50 cents in tax for every packet of cigarettes sold. But that's not actually what's going on here. This will mean that the price is being put up by law, but the supermarkets and off-licenses selling the drink will get to keep 100% of the profits. These businesses will be making almost double what they are now, and nobody will be able to compete with them by law. So they clearly love it, but what about the state? How does the government benefit in all this? Well, increasing sales prices means more VAT is charged, so that'll help to send a few quid the way of the state's exchequer. So basically this will be class for big business, great for the government, everyone wins except you. And I want you to realise that this policy was not only supported by Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and the Greens, who are of course in power, it was also supported by the so-called socialist opposition party of Sinn Féin. As recently as 1 week ago, the Shinners had a whole section up on their website supporting it. And I say as recently as 1 week ago because when you go to the link now, you get a 404 error, meaning they probably thought better of it and deleted it. Unfortunately for them, however, we have an archived link and we can see exactly what they said. Sinn Féin's Chief Whip, Padraig McLaughlin TD, has confirmed that his party have written to the Minister for Health, Stephen Donnelly, asking him to engage with his counterpart in the Northern Assembly, Robin Swan, to work towards an all-island rollout of minimum unit alcohol pricing. The letter follows proposals to commence with this practice in the 26 counties. The Donegal TD, Teachta McLaughlin, said, Sinn Féin supports implementing minimum unit pricing of alcohol products across the island. It has a positive role to play in addressing problem drinking and reducing health inequalities. Once again, Sinn Féin, the main opposition and self-described socialist party, supports big business lining their pockets with the help of the government at the people's expense. Clearly, they've thought this through. Even Roisin Shortall, co-leader of the Social Democrats, has been advocating for this policy for 10 years already. She probably feels like all her Christmases have come at once. Not only do we have a government of fools, but the only people dumber than the parties in charge are the opposition. It's like a race to the bottom to see who can nuke the country faster. Sinn Féin and their ilk are easily the worst opposition in Irish history. If you ever want to know Sinn Féin's policy on anything, look at the Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil mono party's terrible policy and then multiply it by 2. Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil want lockdown, Sinn Féin want even more lockdown. Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil want to give legal status to tens of thousands of illegal immigrants. Sinn Féin want to give legal status to even more illegal immigrants. Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil set insane climate targets that will destroy rural Ireland. Sinn Féin goes, why aren't you doing even more about climate change? This isn't ambitious enough. The Shinners are just the current clown leadership except doubled. They believe in the government's crap policies more than the government does. That seems to be their only function in opposition. Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil want to casually walk Ireland into the jaws of destruction and Sinn Féin want to sprint there. They don't disagree on the destination, just the pace. Why aren't you implementing these daft ideas faster is their main objection. In either case, their plans end the same way. I get that having a government with an IQ above room temperature might be a big request, but can we at least have an actual opposition for once who will stand up to these insane ideas? Is that really so much to ask? Please like and share this video, and if you enjoyed it, please consider signing up for a monthly donation via the link on screen to help us produce more content like this. Alternative media like Gript needs all the assistance it can get, and every donation goes a long way. As always, thanks for watching.